Hello everybody and welcome to Cities Skyline. I'm going to try and do a little guide or video on how to start up your city and some kind of basic understanding of how to run your city and how to get a fresh start up to this game, especially for people who are new to city builders. So we're going to click new game. The first thing you're going to see is that you're going to have to click somewhere to play in, like a map. And these all have different names, as you can see: Green Plains, River Run, Blackwoods, Islands, Shady Strands, Two Rivers, Sandy Beach, Diamond Coast and Lagoon Shore. You can pick any of these, it doesn't really matter which, as they're all pretty balanced. But certain ones may be a little bit harder than others, as they have less natural resources, which makes it a bit harder to get money. But the best place to start is usually Green Plains, as that has a little bit of everything and it's just about what you need. Okay, so as you can see, you've got natural resources of oil, natural resources of ore, farming and forestry. We also have water running through the city, which I think all of these have anyway. So let's just click start and get right into it. So now that we're loaded in, this little guide will pop up to start with, but I'm going to be telling you what to do, so we can close that for now. The first thing you'll notice most likely is this little thing at the top. This is basically Twitter, but for your city and what your residents are thinking. It's called Chirper instead, and I think this little fellow is called Chirpy. So we can just close that for now, we don't need to know anything about that. And here you go, this square is your city tile to begin with. This is how much of your city you're allowed to use so far. You can expand this by, if you click on this button here, the areas button, you can own up to, I think it's 9 different areas. And these are expanded outwards from this original square. But you have to unlock that first and get to a certain level before you can start buying areas. So the first thing we need to do is to let people into our city. And as you can see, this is a highway here and there's a junction coming off to get into our city, but there's nothing here. So first of all, there's a little bit of a thing with the game where you have to place a 2-lane road before you can place a 1-way road. And as you can see, the 2 ways in and out of the city are both 1-way roads. So we want to place this 2-lane road and then delete it immediately, as that unlocks 1-way roads. Okay, so as you can see, the arrows on this road show you which way the direction of traffic will flow in. So the one on the right will go forwards and the one on the left would go backwards or out of the city. But the best thing to do to start with is to go on the roundabout section on your roads, which is here, and have this small roundabout. And if we zoom out, we can place this anywhere we really want to. If we wanted to, we could have it in the middle of the city, but we'd obviously have to connect this via road, which may not be the most efficient way of doing it. So to start with, we're going to have it nice and close, and if you hold the right mouse button, you can spin it round and get it in the direction you want it to be facing, which is quite a nice little feature. So we're going to plonk it there to start with. Now, something I like to do personally is click the bulldozer button and get rid of these little roads on the side, as they're a little bit annoying and they don't always help with what you want to do in terms of the roads coming off and onto your roundabout. So first of all, we're going to link the way in and we're going to link the way out. There you go. Now people can get into our city and out of our city at ease and very easily. So we have the roundabout, and that's it so far. Of course, you don't have to do it this way, this is just the way that I recommend. Here we go. So we can have a straight road coming off it, and here we go. We'll have this initial straight road going to about there, and then from here we'll be able to do the curvy roads. The game's not completely finished yet, I'd say. There's a few little annoying bugs like that you just saw, but for all intensive purposes, the game's really good, and I love it. So yeah, we can do a big winding road like this down our little city. And from this road we can have different areas coming off it. For example, we could just fill up the industry here, and we could put industry here and then have residential here. And I think that's probably the way we're going to go about it. An easy way to do these kind of city builder games is to have grids. So basically the idea of that is you have one straight road coming out, going to here, 90-degree angle, going to there, going down to here, a little bit further actually, and then back up here again, and then you build all these kind of roads like this. So we might want to build another one here, down here, and back up. So now if we click this button here, is zoning. This is how we assign what area is relatable or related to which kind of industry or use. For example, green means residential, blue means commercial, and yellow means industrial. And that tends to be for all city builders as well. If you look in this side of the screen, we have different types of setting these zones, and these little squares are the ones that we're going to be setting. So we're currently on the circle setting, or the large brush. So here we can just paint in where we want the residential to be, which is quite a nice little feature. It gives us quite good control, and it's quite enjoyable as well. So if we just paint this whole area green, then this will fill up with residential, and we'll start to get people moving in. That is a general typical way that you'd have your cities to have like maximum. It's like a New York style, isn't it? It's quite a nice style, but you know, it's not always the prettiest. And we can expand this again, as I said. You can go down here and then back up again and have all like these intersections and things like that. And that can really increase your population quite quick, as you get a lot of people into a small area. But that also brings in other tools like this fill bucket here. Like if I just wanted all this area to be residential, I can just click it and it does it all for me, which can be easier, but sometimes you want a bit more precision. So now we're going to start to see people moaning about water and electricity. So if we pause the game, that stops the happiness of these people decreasing too much, because they already aren't too happy. So if we click on the water panel and sewage, we get all these options for, say, a water tower, the water pipe, the water pumping station, and the water drain pipe, or sewage basically. For our uses, we're just going to have a little water tower, and you can place these near enough where you want, and they provide a certain amount of water, and I assume this also varies depending on where it is. You don't want it directly next to your residential zone, as it might be a little bit noisy, and that's not going to be great for, you know, the people living in your town. But we're going to place it next to the highway, and we're going to hook it up to these roads, so we get a nice good coverage of water all along here and all around here. What your general aim should be for this water pipes is to cover all the residential or industrial or commercial areas in the blue kind of marking, to show that it's actually has water. But the other thing we'll need is a water drain pipe, and the only place you can really put these is on rivers. And when you place them or go into this water tab, it shows you which way the river flows. Generally you want to put it at the very edge of the river, so that all this bit will stay clean and you'll end up polluting downriver. And then you need to kick along your drain pipes and hook this up to the network. There we go. And that is your water near enough sorted. The only other thing you need to do is power this drain pipe here. So for power, it's not always a massive issue, but it can get quite bad at times. So for example, to start with, we're going to have just this simple wind turbine, and we're going to place it a little bit out of the way, and in fact we'll go for 2. These work in a similar way to the water and drains, and they need to be linked up but with power lines instead, as you might expect. And there you go, we just need to link up the sewage outflow to the power, and that will stop people from getting too unhappy or too angry at us. And as you see, they're gone already. But one thing that you may have noticed that I've missed, oh no, it's okay, is sometimes have these stretches so that power will move, or it won't reach to certain areas. Like that's just reached the water tower here, but you know, if it was too far away it wouldn't reach, and we'd have to connect it up with these power lines. So you can get rid of them to a certain extent, but they're mostly needed. Okay, so now we can speed up the game by clicking this button here, and if we click it 2 times it goes into the fastest speed, and this just allows to watch all of these people move into the residential area. And if you zoom in, you know, you can look at their houses. It's quite nice. Look at this house, it looks like a bit like Walter White's house, doesn't it? There's just no pizza on the roof. And yeah, you can click on these houses as well. So, you know, if I click on this, I can name it the White Residence. residence, and then hit enter and close. And whenever I click on that, it's going to be the White residence, where Walter White resides. But you know, we can name them whatever we want. So as we watch time go by, we'll start to get a lot of demand for other things. So now if I slow down time, you'll see that we have a lot of demand for industry and commercial. Commercial, as you might expect, is just shops basically, and you can satisfy the demand for this by just placing these blue zones, which will just allow shops to be built in these areas. And I tend to like to have them in a kind of central point to the residential or on the edge, so you have a central point of commercial like you would in real life. Like there's usually a town centre with a lot of commercial or shops. And the other thing we need is an industrial area. The thing about industrial areas though is they can be really bad for polluting and really bad for noise, and they can also cause quite bad problems with traffic. So generally you want to keep them a little bit away from the residential. So I think putting them along this kind of way is a good shout, because then they're far enough away but within close enough a reach that it's not too far for everyone to travel to work. And here we go, we'll go for a little bit of a different grid, but it'll still look quite nice. There. And then we can also fill this in and make this go down here as well, just to add to the aesthetics of the place. So if we go on the zoning again, click the yellow, or on the paint bucket tool, so we just fill in these areas with industrial. And we'll slowly have all these industrial units being built in factories. As you can see, these shops are filled up very quickly. And look, we've already got a few problems. Look, these people are lacking water, for example. And that's because my pipes don't extend into that area. However, that can easily be fixed, just clicking on these pipes again in the menu, dragging them out, linking them up. Done. Problem resolved. We've still got a little bit of demand for commercial though, and although not all of it has been filled, we know that we're going to need a few more areas to satisfy this demand. So we're going to paint a few more areas in, and hopefully satisfy a bit more demand for commercial. And now, as we're saying that, we can see these factories are starting to be finished building. And look, this one's got a big pipe on it, for example, and they're churning out lots of pollution. So these make ice cubes. It tends to be quite a common thing. You get like a lot of factories making ice cubes in this. I don't know why. They've got a lot of problems at the minute. Oh look, Terry Hancock says, what is it with the waterworks showering with... I don't know what he said. But these industrial areas don't currently have water and electricity, as these aren't linked up either. So again, you have to micromanage these kind of little things, and if you keep on top of it, you'll notice it. So here we go. Just link them all up to the network. Here we'll have to do this a little bit differently. Link up that last little area, and back down there. And you notice there's a little patch in the middle there that's not got any kind of link to electricity. So just while we're here, we're going to fix that up. And obviously, I know my water network isn't the most efficient or nice looking, but it works, and that's the main thing. And the other issue was electricity. As you can see, the blue area doesn't quite meet here. So we're going to have to put in some power lines to connect up the two places. So if we just go like this, have them over the highway, we can connect up the power and sort out the problems. And then when we click play, all these should go away, and everyone should start getting happy again. So yeah, at this point, generally you want to watch your town grow. So and just micromanage the problems that occur. Like we've still got a lot of demand for industry, for example. So I can go into zones now, click industry, and start painting a few more zones down. Since we have space to do so, we may as well. This way we get a lot more money as well, and also keep on top of things. So yeah, if I paint that whole area, look, our demand has significantly decreased, and we're starting to get a little bit of an increase in demand for residential. And the increase in demand for residential should start be filling up by people moving in here, and the houses will start becoming visible. Look, there's plots filling up already. It tends to be as your city grows as well, you get more demand for residential, and that tends to be worked out, I assume, by how much you've got in your city It's just kind of like a natural growth, like any kind of city would. And this whole roundabout as well makes it very useful. For example, if I were to buy some more plots and have an area down here, and I wanted to just focus industry in this area, they could all link up, and then this roundabout would take them straight off. And here we go. We've advanced to the next level, or the next stage, and that is reach a population of 500, which is great. We're a little hamlet now,